Nizzy, and in this video, you guys, we're going to be giving a Packers 53-man roster prediction before we get into the new season here. Obviously, we're heading into week 2 of the preseason today. We got a game up against the New York Jets this afternoon. Obviously, Jordan Love just sounds like he's not going to be playing. We're going to be seeing a lot of Kurt Benkert and that other QB that we ended up bringing into camp here this week. But yeah, you guys, I just thought it'd be a fun little video to break down who I think is going to make the final roster cuts and kind of shaping up the 53-man roster here for the Packers heading into the new season. Real quick before we get into this video, you guys, if you go ahead and like this video, if you like sporting content like this, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. I'm going to keep continuing to press forward and get as many videos out for you guys as possible. Been getting a lot of support on the channel lately, and it means a lot to me, man, so thank you guys very much for that. And without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and start breaking down the 53-man roster prediction for the Green Bay Packers here. We'll start out with the QB position. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love are a given here. In the past, the Packers have liked to run 3 quarterbacks in their quarterback room. I have a feeling just because of the backlog at wide receiver and some of the other positions this year, I think they're going to run 2. I could see Kurt Benkert being a practice squad guy for us, so I think we're just going to be running with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love in the quarterback room to start off the season here, you guys. In the running back room, obviously we got our number 1 option in Aaron Jones, and then his running mate there, A.J. Dillon, as a 1 and 2 locks. And then it's a little bit of a battle right now for that 3rd slot, but it seems to be like it's going to be Kylan Hills. Obviously, he had that phenomenal screen touchdown pass from Jordan Love there in the first game. I think he's got a lot of potential here. He kind of fits that, he kind of looks like an Aaron Jones style running back, can hit the holes hard, can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. So I see him getting that 3rd slot. And I think guys like Dexter Williams and Patrick Taylor aren't going to make the team just because we are so backlogged at some other positions. I think we're going to want to keep a little bit of back-end talent on those other positions like the wide receiver group this year. So I think we're going to run with 3 running backs. We could possibly see the other guys be on the practice squad. We'll have to see what happens there, but I think those 3 guys are locks for the running back room. At the tight end position, you guys, obviously we got big dog Mercedes Lewis as a lock. Bob Tunyon obviously is going to be in there. Josiah DeGuara is coming back off that ACL injury. I expect him to have a phenomenal year for us. And I think Jay Sternberger is going to be stepping up as well. So I think those are going to be the 4 tight ends that make the 53-man roster cut. And then over in the wide receiver group, you guys, we got Devontae Adams, obviously, Randall Cobb, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Allen Lazard, and Amari Rodgers. That's your top 5 locks. It's pretty well guaranteed those are going to be the guys that are making the roster. And then we got a couple back-end spots that might be available here. It depends on how many receivers the Packers decide to keep this year. They could end up keeping 6. They could end up keeping 7. And maybe, who knows, maybe they just decide to keep the main 5 there. But we've seen some nice performances already from some of those other guys like Devin Funchess, Malik Taylor. And those are the 2 guys that I'm going to have in the 6 and 7 slot, you guys, for the wide receiver group is Devin Funchess and Malik Taylor. I mean, just seeing what we've seen from Devin Funchess in that first game of the preseason there, pretty well locked in his spot as long as he doesn't suffer any major injuries here in the preseason. I just can't see us giving up a veteran talent like him who can go and make those circus catches like that. And then Malik Taylor obviously has been with the squad for a while. He played with us last season as well. He's a favorite of Aaron Rodgers. He's kind of like the new Kumaro for Aaron Rodgers. He really likes that guy, so that's why I think he's going to stay on the team. And not to mention, he's very similar to Allen Lazard in the aspect that he's a very good run-blocking wide receiver. So I think just because he does block well in the run game, it's just going to give him a little more time out on the field, maybe get a few possessions in there per game. So I think that's going to be the 7 guys that we have for wide receiver group. Going a little more than what we're used to. Normally we only have 5, but I think we're going to take 7 just because we do have such a stacked wide receiver room this year. And then over to the offensive line, you guys. I got 10 guys in the O-line room. I think we're going to go with Dave Bakhtiari, obviously. I know he's coming back off that injury, but he'll be ready to go here in a couple of weeks into the season, I'm sure. And then obviously we got Elton Jenkins in there, Billy Turner, the new rookie center, Josh Myers, I think is making the team for sure. I think he'll be starting for us. Dennis Kelly out. I think he could possibly be our starting right tackle pickup that we got from the Tennessee Titans. Royce Newman had a really good preseason game there in the first game. I could see him being one of the starting guards for us possibly. Cole Van Lanen, the homegrown talent from Green Bay. I think he's going to make a roster spot. John Runyon as well, probably in a backup role or maybe a starting guard position. And then to round out the offensive line, I think we'll end up keeping Lucas Patrick as well as Ben Braden, because Ben Braden's had a pretty good camp for us. Obviously, John Runyon and Lucas Patrick struggled in the preseason game 1, so you'd like to see them have a little bit of a bounce back, but I think they're going to get the benefit of the doubt just so we have that 10 personnel on the offensive line, so you got a starter and a backup for each position, basically. And then I think we're going to have our lone snapper, Hunter Bradley, as well. So that rounds out the list for 27 players on the offensive side of the ball, you guys. So leaves, a decent amount of positions for the defensive side of the ball. We'll start with the cornerbacks on the defensive side. I think we're going to be, obviously, Jair's in there. Eric Stokes, I think, is actually going to take over the starting role for Kevin King. I think Kevin King's going to be in the 3 slot in our cornerback room. And then I think Chandon Sullivan's going to be our main slot guy. Backing up him in the slot role, I think we're going to keep our rookie cornerback there, Shamar John-Charles. I think he'll be backing up Chandon Sullivan for a lot of that slot time. And then just with the preseason performance we've seen from Kabion Ento in the first preseason game, if he can continue that progress, I think he'll round out and be able to snag that last cornerback spot for us. He had a really nice preseason game there. Obviously, that 1 interception. Almost had another interception, I believe, that they called a penalty on him just because he ended up meeting the receiver right at the ball. So if he continues to have a strong preseason performance here, I could definitely see him making the squad at that 6th cornerback slot. Then over to the free safety position, you guys, I got Darnell Savage, obviously, and then I think Vernon Scott's going to be backing him up this year. And then for the strong safety, obviously, we got Adrian Amos, and then Will Redmond backing him up as well. So I think our safety room's really strong this year. I think we got 2 of the best safeties in the league in Savage and Amos. So I'm looking forward to watch those guys work this year. And then over to the middle linebacker slot, you guys, with the new addition of Devondre Campbell, he's going to be our number 1 guy. He's looking real primed and fit for taking on a good leadership role within that middle linebacker room. Like what I've seen from him so far in camp. I think he's going to be our main dude alongside Chris Barnes this year. And then that'll have a nice backup role for Kamal Martin. Oren Burks had a phenomenal game in preseason game 1. If he can continue to have that type of preseason for the next 2 games here, I could definitely see him getting that 4th slot in the middle linebacker room. And then to round out the middle linebackers, I think we're going to end up keeping Isaiah McDuffie on the squad just because he is a rookie. And he does have that potential to be kind of a do-it-all middle linebacker who can play the pass coverage as well as the run game pretty well, rush the passer a little bit. So I think he's going to be someone that we want to keep just because of the potential in the future. Guys like Ty Summers and things like that haven't really performed that well in the couple years they've been here. I could see Ty Summers heading over to the practice squad most likely. And then over to the outside linebackers, you guys. Obviously, we got Z and Preston as our main 2. Obviously, Rashawn Gary's in there as well. And then I think to round that one out, we're going to have I believe it's his 2nd year in the league now, Jonathan Garvin. So I think he's going to be rounding out the 4 outside linebackers for us. And then over to the defensive line, you guys, obviously we have Kenny Clark and Dean Lowry as kind of our main 2 guys. We drafted TJ Slayton in, I believe it was the 5th round this year. He's a big body dude, very athletic. I expect him to make the team for sure. He's going to be one of the focal points in the middle of that defensive line, being a big help with the run stop as well as the pass rush. And then to round that out, I think we're going to have Kingsley Kiki as well as Tyler Lancaster to round out our defensive line group. So I think our defensive line group is going to be pretty strong this year. Definitely a little bit of an upgrade, I think, over last year. Just adding in a big body dude like TJ Slayton and then just having another year under the belt of some of these other guys. So I expect us to be pretty decent there. And then obviously the last 2 roster spots, you guys, we got to have a punter and a kicker. So no surprise, we'll be keeping J.K. Scott and Mason Crosby there. So that kind of rounds out the top 53, you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Who do you think is going to make the Packers 53-man roster? I got 7 wide receivers, you guys. Do you think that Packers are going to keep 7? Are they going to keep 6? Maybe 5? Maybe they'll end up keeping an extra running back and have 4 instead of 3. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Would love to get your guys' opinion on it. Once again, you guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and every video on my channel. I've been getting a lot of support lately, and it means a lot to me, man. Please go ahead and like this video if you so choose. Subscribe to the channel if you so choose. And this is Mizzy with Mizzy Sports Chat.